In this video, this is the third video in the series, we're going to be talking about the most useful views of the data um, and how you can utilize those to answer some of your questions. So let's just talk about the most useful views here, and we'll just I've got a kind of top 4 or 5 that are really useful. So I'm going to go to one of my favorite views, and that's going to be user flow, and we're going to look at 2 kinds of flow. We're going to look at social media flow, and you can always use this to search. So that's underneath acquisitions, social, and then user flow. And so we're actually going to go to acquisitions, social, and user flow. Now, I don't believe ORCID is using any social media like social media efforts, and so you're not actually going to see anything here, which is expected. But I could show you a view almost exactly like this, and so whenever you start using social media views, it'll make a lot more sense. So we're going to actually look at behavior flow. Okay, so this is the behavior flow, and what we're looking at right now is the metric of landing pages. So what are our top landing pages? Where are people coming into the site? Where are they going? And then eventually falling off. So kind of looking at this is where we're starting. This is the starting place, and we can see the traffic that actually is falling off from these. Now keep in mind too, all of this is in context of January 4th through February 9th. Okay. So if I look here, also I could click it and kind of highlight this traffic and actually see the traffic flow continue through here. I can even highlight the node here, see who's going through ORCID High School, coming in, and then where they're going, and then eventually leaving. We can even see in group details here. So I know one of the things that we're interested in is the Academy, so we can actually see that the Academy does show up in the landing pages right here. And so I might want to highlight this particular group. Okay, so let's say I want to highlight this node here. I can actually click this this information here because I know the Academy is in this, and I can see that our traffic kind of comes up into here. I can see our group details here. So they're coming in and they are actually inside of this group here. We're not actually seeing any traffic into the Academy. Oh wait, no, here it is. So they're so they're coming back in. They're hitting the Academy, about the Academy again. They might actually be coming in on this page as well. And then let's see here. So if I come here, so from here they actually come to the home page, some of them, but they also can come into here. We see the Academy is still listed in here as a third step. But now we're also starting to see the staff show up in the second interaction with the website. We can come in here and see the Academy, about the Academy. Let's see, do we have any staff or anything? So you see how this view is very useful in kind of figuring out the traffic of the website. You can also break this down into multiple steps. You think you can go up to like 12 steps. So you can get, with larger sites, you can get pretty detailed about who's doing what, where they're going. So let's just kind of look at one. We have highlight here. We're going to highlight the home page as a landing page. We see here that we have 24,000 people actually drop off. Is that right? Yep. Oh, 2.4 thousand people drop off from the home page. But then we can see in their first interaction, they're moving into these different areas: district forums, calendars, OCI, or the high school, district cafeteria, and then support. And then from here, they're moving on the second interaction, maybe coming back to the home page, some of them actually from district forums. We have support here again. They move from support into here, and then they seem to be moving back into the home page. So you can see where you can kind of track a lot of this traffic down to real definable details. Now this is mostly, so like I said before, Google Analytics is a bit of an art and science. It's not going to tell you what you need to do. So you'll have to look at that information and kind of decide for yourself what you need to do with it, how you need to react to the information. Let's kind of looking at behavior flow. So the next one that I wanted to cover was going to be the, let's see here. Another one is a great one is location. So let's just go up here and filter down to location. So we have audience, geo, and location. And we can actually, whenever you search there, you can also go audience, geo, location. So this one will probably make a whole lot of sense to you guys. We'll see here that almost all of your traffic here is coming from the United States. You have a little bit of traffic from like Russia, China, and just other things. And these might be like search bots and different things like that coming in there. Nothing really to be concerned about or notice. Now, if this metric was like way high, I might actually start asking why it is. But this is kind of what we expect, most of it coming from the United States. Whenever we click on countries, we can start breaking it down into states. We see we have some traffic from different states, but the overwhelming majority is in Texas, which makes sense. And then once you kind of get into Texas, you can start seeing the traffic around that particular state. But once again, the overwhelming majority is here, which is actually going to be Ore City, which makes a whole lot of sense. And then the outlying areas, Gilmer, Gladewater, different places like that. So that all actually is exactly what we would expect, but once again, a great view. As you maybe have other efforts in other states, this view might actually become more useful and important to you. So another cool view, and one that I like to kind of highlight as useful during maybe live events, say you start streaming basketball games and things like, or football games and things like that, is going to be the live view. So let's go ahead and look at this. Real-time overview. So if I look at this right now, what this is telling me and showing me is that right now on the website we have 2 people visiting. We can see the information that they're looking at, district forums and support thank you. This might tell us that they just actually completed a form on that page. As this transitions across, we'll see this number change. And so we can also see that the interaction is almost completely via desktop. So over the course of all of this, we can see that page views are changing and people are coming in and leaving. We can see the content that they're actually seeing each moment. So super useful, especially like if you're doing like live events or something like that where you should be seeing traffic. You should actually be able to like pull this up and actually see that traffic happening as it's happening. Okay, so that would be the real-time view. So kind of circling back around to like, what is our most useful content? Like, what is happening with our content? You can actually see real-time content here. So view here to actually see the content that people are, kind of just filter down to that content. We can also, though, probably the most useful thing that you're going to be looking at is going to be this behavior and site content. Oh, look, we just had somebody else visit the site. Yeah. And they're on the home page. So we're going to look at our overview, and we're going to go to site content, or all pages. So this is probably where you're going to start doing most of your analytics and looking and trying to figure out what's happening and why it's happening and different things like that. So I want to spend some time just kind of going through everything that you can do on this. So by default, it's going to show on the Explorer page views, right? We have our top landing pages. We can increase the number of pages that we see in this. So I'm just going to up this to 500. Okay. So here's all of our pages by page views, even ones that just received one page. We still have 232 pages of information like this over the course of the 2 weeks here. We can add versus information. So page views versus, say, unique page views. So once we start doing that, we can actually start comparing metrics here. Whereas unique page views is split amongst page views and the unique page views. So you start being able to compare that information and how they interact with one another. What's another great one? Let's see here. Exit percentage. So you can start comparing this different information here. Let's just get rid of that. Go to one metric here. You can also add secondary dimensions to the page. So perhaps I'm looking for say exit pages. I'm just going to add that as a dimension there. Now I can see here that based on this information here, we have OCISD and the exit page that kind of falls within that. Right? So those are some of the things that you'll probably want to play around with and kind of see what you can do. So probably the other most useful feature is filtering down this information. So if we are looking for information on specifically the Academy, let's see here. I'm going to filter this down here. So I use the URL to filter down to my Academy information, right? And so from here, I can see over the course of 2 weeks, I had 45 page views, and the Academy about the Academy was the top page in that in those pages, followed by the staff and then parents community. I only had 12 people visit the Academy staff page. So those are going to be some of your most useful pieces of information. So there's a lot of views inside of Google Analytics, and I've shown you just a few of them. Some of them could be for development, like if we're looking at site speed and things like that. Content drill down actually breaks down all your pages via like top level navigation, and what people are actually hitting, and then where those pages actually go. So if I'm going to filter this down to 5,000, we can see here, our top level people are hitting the Academy, and then they're going into about the Academy and these different things. So super useful in that regard as far as content drill down. So there's a lot of things to play around with. Take a look, ask questions. And that's great. So the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to have some scenarios, and we're going to talk about like how we might get the information for those and draw conclusions between the real world and the actual, data that we're receiving. Because in the same way that, a lot of things are art and a science, so is analyzing your analytics.